The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to Sarah Talk. It's political.
If you really give a fuck about the life of the unborn, you'd better be prepared to help fund WIC and food stamps and welfare, because you don't get to say, I care about that life, until it's born, and then turn around and say, well, you shouldn't have had sex if you couldn't care for this child. You should have gotten a better education. You need to work harder. Maybe you should take a second job. It's not my responsibility.
Critical.
When was the last time a Christian was allowed to have a separate place to say their prayers? Look, you can literally bow your head at your fucking desk. You're like, why did he get the thing and I didn't get the thing? You didn't ask for the thing!
And positively LGBT positive.
Look, whenever there's someone coming after my community, they are either wearing a MAGA hat, carrying a Bible, or more often both.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
What the hell is in Idaho?
Potatoes.
Anyway? You could take a drill a
Drill
hole
up
in
a
a potato and fuck
you'd
a
be
potato.
fine.
Would you marry a potato though? Could that be okay?
No, but you wouldn't have to marry a potato because a potato doesn't need consent for you to fuck it.
And now, from Haines City, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to SarahTalk. This is episode 177, August 23rd, 2019.
Hello.
What's up?
It's been a day. It's been a weird, interesting day.
Yeah. What do we want to talk about? We actually went out to lunch together, just the two of us.
It was
no
like
children.
Otherworldly.
It was.
We didn't have to ask for a kids menu.
I forgot what that was like.
We didn't have to hear
Pick up
children
crayons off
fighting
the
about
floor.
crayons under the table on the floor. We didn't have to bring home a bunch of food that people ordered and didn't eat.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was
my
nice.
God. So what was the name of this place? The
Oh, fuck.
Something.
Something lion something.
Yeah, it was a British place, and I ordered fish and chips, as I often do. I'm telling you, that portion of fish was huge. Huge.
It was the biggest cod I've ever seen.
Where's the fucking bell?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Hold on.
God damn it. Why is it all the way over there?
Because that's where I was sitting last week, and nobody put my desk back together.
It wasn't last week, was it? No, that wasn't last week.
Was it? Well, then we didn't have
Anyway,
any awesome jokes last week.
We
so
haven't
didn't
been
notice.
using the bell lately.
No, we
We
haven't.
need to get better at that.
Hold on, I forgot to pour my drink.
Okay.
Go on.
So, hey, we're gonna open the phones again. We haven't done that in a really long time because nobody calls in. And they may not
And
tonight.
fuckers, if
And
you don't
that's
call
fine.
in, that's okay, but seriously.
Right. We'll say it's like voting. If you don't call in, then you
Can't really complain about what we talk
Can't really
about
complain.
or don't talk about or how short the show is.
Exactly. Now that said, I am not going to be able to watch the comments.
Well,
on my
I'm trying
phone.
to get there, but I got to catch up because I literally just sat down in this chair.
So I haven't tested it, but I'm pretty sure it's set up. 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724 if you want to call in and chat with us about anything. Open lines. Anything you want to talk about, we'll pretend like we know what we're talking about.
It looks like we have Brent, David, and Dan, maybe.
Awesome.
Yes, that's who it says is watching with me now. If that's still accurate, I don't know.
Well, I would be happy for any of them to call and talk about anything.
All of them? Any of them?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let me just say that if you do call in, though, and we're talking to someone else, don't call while we're talking to someone else.
Why?
Because we
What
don't
will
have
happen?
we don't have a fancy hold system where we can, multiple lines and all of that.
So will it
it'll
just
beep
ring and ring? Oh.
like it does when you call and
a landline and there's like a call waiting and it
Yeah.
just... Oh, that's funny.
yeah, that's what it'll do. But we'd love for you to call in. In the meantime, we have some stuff to talk about.
We do?
And if you want to talk about any of this stuff, you can call in while we're talking about this stuff, or you can call in and talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Look at that. I've got area code 941.
Who's that?
You're on SarahTalk. Who's this?
This is David Ludd. How are you doing?
Hey, David,
Hi,
how you
David.
doing?
I just thought I'd call in and share some good news that happened
good
today.
news. Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
I love good news.
What happened?
Yeah. David Koch died.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And how great of you to bring that up. That's my first story on the list.
Wow.
It's like you almost, like you knew.
It was so funny this morning when Sarah saw the thing pop across her news feed.
I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I was like, I thought maybe they were going to like open a Five Guys across the street or something. And no, that's...
So...
Well, you know, him and Charles and the Orange Wacko and then the Moscow Mitch, and the world will be better.
Yeah, one less problematic person in the chain, I guess. Here's what I culled from the news today that I thought was interesting. What do you think Fox News is pissed off about? Bette Midler.
Of course, Sarah.
Okay, now
good grief.
Listen to this. This is great. Right-wing Heritage Foundation President Kay Coles James praised Koch on Twitter as a, quote, great philanthropist and friend of liberty. Midler replied what we're all thinking, with all due respect, Ms. James, fuck you. a friend of liberty, yes, his own and his family's. The rest of us can drink leaded water and burn in the climate change he produced. Midler also apologized for initially tweeting that David's brother Charles Koch had died, noting that she didn't want to give false hope. Guess it was just wishful thinking, she said in another tweet. As we watch the Amazon rainforest burning, all the global warming culprits are foremost in one's mind. So glad that Fox News has their outrage properly placed in Bette Midler, of all people.
My question is,
I thought maybe they were going to be outraged at her because she was honored as a D23 today.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, maybe they are, and they had to redirect that rage at something a little more not so petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for the news bite to drop that, he had left gazillions of dollars to ultra right, conservative Christian whatever organizations. That's what I kept waiting for.
And it might just not drop today. It might trickle out of.
And it may have, and I may not have seen it.
Yeah, that's true. Like it's hard to. Well, they have to go through the whole legal process with that, so that's not going to be public information for a while, is it?
I'll be honest. All I know is he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it? You that said it? Somebody said well, there'll be another.
Oh.
There'll be somebody from The Family. Have you watched The Family yet?
Yeah.
What?
I have yet to watch it.
About that.
Yeah. Interestingly, I posted that. I didn't post it. Several people were talking about it in the atheist community Facebook group, and I made, I think, sort of a generational observation maybe, because some people were like, "Oh, this is old news. I knew all this stuff. This wasn't anything new." And I was like, "This was all news to me. I didn't know anything about this organization. I didn't understand that the prayer breakfast was so entwined in its activities. I wasn't around. I wasn't paying attention to politics when that lawmaker got busted in his scandal and turned to Jesus to get out of it. All of that was new information to me. Maybe it's just because, I wasn't paying attention to politics.
Well, that's what happens. They don't want you. They don't want you to pay attention, and so if you're not paying attention,
well, with all this happening, I don't really want to pay attention.
Right.
Right.
That's the whole nother layer.
The world is on fire. Right.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that didn't.
The way to maintain my sanity is to not look much past the headlines these days.
Yeah, and that's dangerous because then you don't get the full story, and then we make judgments based on a headline. I mean, there was one today that I shared in the Facebook group, it was to the SarahTalk page, and Dan corrected me.
Mm-hmm.
Hemant Mehta over at the Friendly Atheist wrote a piece about Kim Davis, and this is on our list of things to talk about tonight too. And he inaccurately reported that the court had decided that she has to pay the fees, not the county or not the state. And what the actual ruling was that the state has to pay, not her. And so he issued an update and a retraction. But it's one of those things, like, even if I had just read the article, but even if I had just read the headline, Yeah. You get out of that what you get out of that, I guess.
Don't judge a news story by its headline.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, well, I'm going to go, but hope to see you guys soon.
Yes, great to hear from you. Calling. Thanks for the good news.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care.
We'll see you. 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724. That was fun. Thanks, David.
Yeah. If you see me itching and scratching, I'm really sorry.
There's some TMI coming.
It's Florida. It's humid. It's hot. And I've got heat rash all over my body. And I'm dying because it's... So I'm sorry, but I'm going to be digging.
Oh, okay. Good God.
I'm sorry. It just burns. If anybody has a great remedy for heat rash, Dan, I'm talking to you, Mr. Arizona.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Send that my way.
Okay. So, Kim Davis.
Yeah.
Rowan County clerk who refused to issue marriage licenses to gay people after the Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell. Back and forth this case has gone. Well, today, a federal appeals court upheld a lower court's ruling requiring Kentucky to pay the $224,000 in legal fees related to her case rather than Kim Daniels herself. I am in the wrong business.
Right?
Should have gone to law school.
No shit.
And as closely as I pay attention to that kind of stuff and the stuff that I've learned from listening to opening arguments, I think I would do all right.
Mm-hmm.
I could have done it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Even Kentucky's garbage governor Matt Bevin supported the idea of Davis having to pay rather than the state. In the original 2017 ruling, U.S. District Judge David Bunning said that the state should be liable because the state is responsible for regulating marriage, not the county, and not Kim Davis, the person. And we talked about that when it first broke.
Did you accidentally say Daniels at some point?
I probably did. They're both.
Dan's like Kim Davis.
They're both
not
terrible.
Daniels.
they're both terrible.
Yeah, they're not interchangeable, but they're both equally bad.
Anyway, I guess I'm glad somebody's going to have to pay for this because there were 8 people in the suit,
right?
That filed in the suit for compensation for having been denied marriage licenses. So somebody needs to make it right for them.
And fix it.
Like, whoever has to pay for it, pay for it. But make good with these people that you've screwed over.
I think she should, as retribution. See, if I made the laws, people would hate me. I think for her crime, her retribution should be that she should be required to do community service at a place like the center that we have here in Orlando that caters to the LGBT community.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, that could be a nightmare, a recipe for disaster.
It could be.
Or it could show her that they're just human beings, shut the fuck up. And
right.
I mean, it depends. I guess you put the wrong person in that spot. And I don't know.
Right.
But I'd like to just see the look on her face. You're going to be required to do 900 hours of community service helping the queer community who you hate
much.
So much that you would deny them a basic human right that they're entitled to.
Right.
For federal law.
Maybe we send her to conversion therapy to
convert her to a human,
Jesus away.
A decent human being.
Yeah, right.
Is there such a thing? There should be.
No.
We should start a movement.
No.
Convert all of the bigots into humanists. No?
No.
All right, fine. I'm trying to save the world here.
Moving on.
Okay.
In the quest to make life even more miserable for poor people, the Trump administration announced changes to Title X, which provides federal funding to organizations that do pregnancy centers and pregnancy
Okay.
care like that, right? Well, the new rules block federally funded healthcare providers from making referrals to or even informing patients about abortion providers. Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest provider of such services, announced they would be withdrawing from Title X, giving up that federal funding in order to continue providing abortion referrals and services. So,
Wow.
if you've ever considered donating to Planned Parenthood,
Yeah.
now's a good time. And despite my crappy experience,
Right.
one bad
Yeah.
experience with them, the stuff that they do in the sexual health realm
Right.
is good stuff, and they've been doing it for a
Right.
really long time. Like, my experience was they're new to trans
Well,
care and don't know what they're
yeah,
doing.
that's what I was about to say. They've only been doing trans care for a couple of years,
Right,
on a broad scale.
right. And I think because there's a few different wings of the Planned Parenthood organization, right? There's the medical
Right.
sector, and then there's the public policy, advocacy, activism
Mhm.
sort of wing.
Mama Ashley Rose is in the chat.
Mama!
Hey, girl. You should call in. We have the phone lines open.
224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724.
Or you could have Jason call in.
Wide-ranging topic. Anything you'd like to talk about, or
You
the stuff
pick,
that we're talking
or-
about. Yeah, it's You Pick Friday.
Pick up the phone. Push the numbers.
So, let's see. While we're talking about some Trump stuff, Dan brought this one up, and I didn't have time to print it out or write it up. But, so you know that Trump is the best for the LGBT community, right?
Oh, yeah. So good. He's so good.
He has done so much for queer people. So much good, of course. Well, the Log Cabin Republicans have been hemorrhaging members in the wake of this Donald Trump garbage, who, by the way, is the second coming. Don't know if you saw that or not, but
I did see that.
Get your cross ready. So the Log Cabin Republicans largely have been sort of pro-LGBT, and they decided to endorse the president's re-election campaign.
Because why not?
So all the gay people got out of the they're just leaving left and right. And that started with Robert Turner, who's the former president of the Washington, D.C. chapter. And he says, "It saddens me greatly to say that today I am ending my association with Log Cabin Republicans, an organization I've been heavily involved with for the last decade, including serving as president of the D.C. chapter for 3 years." Turner also appeared to suggest that LCRs experience internal difficulties I can't imagine, offering praise for the current D.C. chapter president and national executive director. He said that the national director can't seem to get anything accomplished because of a board of directors won't get out of her way. So it sounds like there's some internal conflict in the Log Cabin Republicans, and people are rage quitting. And good for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's not healthy. We've said this before. If you're in a group that doesn't represent what your ideals are, why are you there?
Right. Well, and we've seen Republican lawmakers, not in mass number, but a couple over the past months, decide to hand in their GOP card and
Right.
Look, when I'm back in my district, I plan to refile my voter registration and join the Democratic Party, because how many times have we said on this show that more people need to do that? More people need to stand up and say, this is not the Republican Party that I bought into when I started all of this.
Yeah.
And whatever it's become, and be genuine about it. Like, you can say, hey, y'all, I tried to help fix this from within, but it is just too corrupt. It's gone too far into
Right.
this Trumpian whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm not. There's not enough of us
Well,
left to fix it.
and the sad part about it is that it started way before Trump ever was a thing, you know? It's been going in this direction. And I mean, and it had to have been for somebody like him to be elected, you know?
Right.
Um, so that's this is a scary thought that this has just been a shitstorm brewing, like, for a long time. So I don't know. Oh, David says, glad to see some Dems drop out of the race.
Yes.
The party
We're
field
finally
is
starting to see
slimming
a
down.
little paring down. Yeah. I've said it before. I'll say it again. So many of them need to focus on Senate races and maintaining the House. And yeah. I think there are just too many hats in the and at the beginning, that's good. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, that gives you a wide range of choices,
Sure.
and it should pare down quickly. I
Well,
don't think, like, there are some people that are gonna hang on way too long, and it's like, God, come on, Marianne Williamson, just
I think
die.
there's also a lot of the new kids that are coming into, like, oh, I can actually vote. Like, I hope that they're paying attention to this, because I think the more people that you see come together and debate these issues, the more of an education on the issues that you get. Because I know as a new voter, it's overwhelming.
Right.
So I'm glad there was so much there, because then you see, like, okay, these are all people from the same party and they all have very differing. So it kind of gives you an idea that, not all Democrats are necessarily the same shade of blue.
Right. Sure.
So you have to really pay attention to that, and I don't know. I think that that's a good thing that has happened. Like, that new voters get to experience that.
Right.
Anyway.
Log Cabin Republicans. Where the hell was I?
don't know.
So they endorsed President Trump, right? Said that Trump met his commitments to the LGBTQ community.
Wow. When?
Pointing to plans to end HIV/AIDS and decriminalize homosexuality worldwide, except Trump's proposed budget plan has called for $2 billion in cuts to HIV spending. And he appeared confused when asked about his own decriminalization plan, because he doesn't know what his plans are. He's winging it. 813, you're on SarahTalk. Who's this?
It's Mama.
Mama!
What's up?
Of course, I would call it the worst time where I have to park this truck and I can't talk about it. Come on.
Well, hey, you made a choice.
That's all right. What's on your mind?
Yeah.
What's going on?
We like to flip-flop.
Yeah.
Right? I just wanted to say hi.
Aww.
I had a few moments to jump on, and you said call, so I'm like, well, I need to call.
Well, while you're on the phone, then, I was going to save this for later, but I'll talk about it now. We have, next month, we have 2 guests returning that we interviewed separately that are going to be together.
Oh.
And Mama is one of them.
Oh. Announcement. You're hearing it now.
It's going to be so great. So I don't want to get into it because I don't want to give it away, but
I'm excited.
At your last Drag Queen Story Time, you read the children's books by Will Mason, who we had on the show, a year ago?
That, yeah.
Or maybe more, I don't know.
Very sad I missed that story time, but love that book.
No, I wish I had been there.
It was a bad weekend.
But anyway, so he has a second book out, and you read those at Storytime, and I can't wait to get you two together and talk about how it was received and what the kids talked about, and I can't wait.
Love it, love it, love it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about it. It was a great time, and we'll just leave it there. We'll leave it for the show. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really guilty. I have like 4 books. I'm still deciding on reading the next one.
which will be September 8th.
Okay.
Decided. It'll be our third one.
That's awesome.
We have just been, it's pretty pumped. And as soon as I released it, like, people already had 20 people RSVP.
Wow, that's great.
We'll be pushing it probably next week again after we get through our event this weekend. So I'm pretty excited.
I told you it wouldn't be long before you had to start looking for a bigger space.
Yep, girl.
Yeah, we're either going to do a bigger space or we're just going to do multiple sessions. You know, we'll do what we got to do.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's a great problem to have, though, right? Like,
yeah,
it really is.
Oh yeah, much better than having space and nobody to come.
Yeah.
This is true. Can I plug our event Sunday?
Please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Miss Tora, which you guys have had Tora Hyman on your show
we love
before.
Tora.
Who doesn't, right?
Right.
Well, we have her show Sunday night at the venue in Orlando, and we are raising money for One Orlando Alliance.
Great.
And Rose Dynasty. The tickets are $20 on sale through tomorrow, and if you don't get your tickets by midday tomorrow, they'll be $30 at the door. And space is limited, so I really would love to pack the place out.
Where do we get tickets?
On rosedynasty.com. You go to events, it is the Miss Tora event in the event.
Awesome.
And it's, again, like everything we do, it's all ages, so kids of all ages can come. It's Sunday, I think it's 7 o'clock in the evening. It's a little later for kids on a Sunday night, but, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that's great. I'm glad, and I love that the stuff that you do is family-friendly. That's so important.
I'm realizing that more and more every day.
Yep.
Reading the news, these kids are definitely needing this positive message. So.
Yep. And hearing from the kids themselves, too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, goodness, you guys experienced it at the story time, and I'm experiencing it constantly. I just actually had someone literally drive from Orlando to Lakeland today for me to do their hair because their 13-year-old trans child wanted me to do their hair, and it was a great time to get to know them and just hear, hey, we met in St. Pete, you live in Orlando, and you came to Lakeland for me to, have this experience with your teen who doesn't necessarily feel comfortable with other people. I think every day, I'm sharing with my boss today, every day it's even more life-changing for me because I'm realizing more and more every day how much I needed it too.
Yeah.
To be there for these people. Because I didn't have it. You didn't have it.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to pop on and say hi and, show y'all some love.
Great.
I'm so glad that you are part of our family and becoming friends. And, yeah, I love it.
And I can't wait to talk to you next month and get all the details.
It's going to be fun.
It'll be fun. You guys have a great night. I'll continue watching in the background while I'm doing some work. So.
All right.
All right. We'll talk to you later. We love you.
Bye.
Bye. Love y'all.
Oh, always good to hear from
Yes.
Mama.
For those of you that were watching me in the video, so before the show, I grabbed my drink. I grabbed an ice cream bar because I was kind of snacky. And it's been sitting here since the show started, and I forgot. So it was very melty, and I had to, deep throat it. But it's okay. It's all good.
Dan got a great screenshot for me to use
Dan,
as the title graphic.
I swear to God, if you send that to her, you are not going to be allowed to be...
He probably already has. Oh, man.
Rude.
Yep. Nah, I guess I can't do it while I'm doing this. 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724. That's great. I'm loving hearing from people.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next on the agenda. This story is from Newsweek. A newly elected member of the St. Louis County Council chose to be sworn in with a Dr. Seuss book rather than a Bible.
I saw this. This is my favorite story.
So great. Earlier this month, Democrat Kelly Dunaway handily beat Republican Alderman Amy Polker for the 2nd District seat, garnering 60% of the vote. Since election regulations don't require politicians to swear their oath of office on a Bible, you say that one more time for the people who don't have take your civics class, kids. Regulations don't require politicians to swear their oath of office on a Bible, or any book for that matter.
Dunaway opted to lay her hand on a Dr. Seuss 1990 bestseller, Oh, the Places You'll Go.
So fitting.
Her son and daughter held the book for her during her swearing-in ceremony.
It was so pictures were cute.
Yeah. Dunaway quoted an excerpt from the unsurprisingly sexist book for its time in a Facebook post, quote, "You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy who'll decide where to go." She even admitted Seuss was, quote, "not immune to a male-centric narrative as he sought to inspire, but the message is the same whether the reader is a guy or not." I mean, it was the time.
Right.
But I think that's freaking awesome, and more people should buck the status quo like that and pick something unexpected.
Agree.
I think that would be fantastic. We've had, Tulsi Gabbard swore in on a Bhagavad Gita. We've had.
What would you use if you were sworn into office?
The U.S. Constitution. The thing I'm swearing to uphold is what I would use.
I like that. Yeah.
There was somebody else that used a law, like a law book. But yeah, you're swearing to uphold the Constitution. And isn't it fucking crazy that we, by default, put your hand on a Bible to swear? That's so stupid.
I mean, I guess I'm not surprised by that answer, but I almost expected you to say, like, the Klingon dictionary or something.
Oh, that'd be good, too. I used to have one of those.
Anyway. What else you got?
Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit today reversed a lower court's decision and ruled that the Pennsylvania House of Representatives policy against atheists giving secular invocation doesn't violate the United States Constitution. Earlier this year, I assume it's pronounced Dina, because this is how my sister's name is spelled, and so I'm going to call her Dina. Earlier this year, Dina Weaver, a member of the Dillsburg area Freethinkers, provided her second invocation before the PA Senate, saying, quote, "We pray that the one principle that this great experiment of American democracy has taught us is that we are so much better when we work together in a spirit of inclusion. And so we pray. We pray for this democracy of the people, by the people, and for the people. We pray for our government to serve all people equally." That doesn't really ring as a secular invocation, but okay. But Dina and all non-theists are barred from providing an invocation in the House. Around the same time, freshman Representative Stephanie Borowicz, Republican, offered a prayer before the House that wasn't quite 2 minutes long, where she invoked Jesus 13 times, God 6 times, and Lord 4 times. Her prayer even contained proselytizing statements such as, "Jesus, you are our only hope," and "At the name of Jesus, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess Jesus, that you are Lord."
You know,
go ahead.
I've said this, that invocations are not really my thing. I don't really see myself doing that.
Right.
But I think if I were to write one, I think I would write it in this style of Yoda.
Okay. Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you were saying that, I was thinking, like, okay, we all know that this is a prayer, right?
Right.
How many of these have been said, and how many of them have been answered? And why are we still fucking doing this?
Right.
Like,
right. I mean, when I get into debates with people online or whatever, there are people that push back and say, well, why do atheists even want to do invocations? We don't. Largely, we would rather go into the halls of lawmaking
and do some lawmaking
and just do the work. Right?
It's not.
If a council person or a commissioner or a senator or whoever wants to pray, you pray in your private chambers before you come out onto the floor.
Like, and okay, if you were to go into a hospital and have a major surgery, they ask you if you'd like the chaplain to come pray with you. But they don't have the doctor sit in with you for that prayer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not I mean, you could probably request it.
Probably.
But, so, we're not doing this anywhere else. Why are we still doing it here?
Yep. Toward the end of Borowitz's prayer, House Speaker Mike Turzai, Republican, touched Borowitz's arm, signaling her to, like, hey, cut it short. So it'll be interesting to see if this case gets elevated and what the Supreme Court might say, given the way it's made up now, but also in light of that precedent, which says that you can have invocations before governmental meetings, but if you have them, they have to be open to people of all faiths or none. Right. Grease v. Galloway, and I can't think of the other case. But, you know, kick that to the Supreme Court and see what happens. And these days, I don't know, because they don't seem to give a fuck about precedent anymore.
No.
Anyway. Let's see. I have a couple of more things. But let's do this. Let's take a super quick break.
You need to get more drink, don't you?
Yeah. And and then I've got a couple, one or two more stories. I don't remember. And then and we'll still take your calls at 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724. But I'm going to lead into the break with FREEFLO.
Oh, yeah.
FREEFLO is coming up. And if you're not sure what that is, it is the Freethought Florida Conference. And I had to practice that a lot because I keep wanting to call it the Florida Freethought Conference, but it's FREEFLO, Freethought Florida.
Right.
So I had to practice it because I kept fucking it up. And that's in November. And there's going to be some, like, big name folks in the atheist community.
Oh, Brent says he's going.
Brent's going. Great.
Yay.
Hey, we're going to need you to work the table for a little while. I'm just kidding.
I've got to bribe some people, get some people to come hang with me so I don't have the kids all day alone at the table.
So I'm going to play the commercial for FREEFLO, which just dropped about a week ago or so, and then we'll go into the break, and then we'll come back with your calls and the rest of my topics after this. Hey, what's up? I'm Sarah Ray with the atheist community of Polk County. I'm stoked to be the MC for this year's FREEFLO, the Freethought Florida Conference.
Orlando, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The whole weekend is going to be groovy.
I'll be rapping about separation of church and state.
I'll be talking about what might have made America great.
And I will be tripping. No, I will not be doing any tripping.
I'll be talking about the role of science in secular humanism.
Evolution education.
Community organizing and activism.
Transgender equality in America today.
Americans' attitudes toward, wait for it, agnostics.
I'll be given the skinny on how summer camp can help build a secular community for kids.
Science education here in the Sunshine State.
Black feminism, free thought, and progressive politics.
You can get your groove on at the Friday Night Cocktail Party.
Friday Night Cocktails and Costumes Party, which kicks off the weekend.
We're going to lay down that funky music until we die.
Costumes are optional, but at least some disco will be mandatory.
I personally won't be there unless there's disco.
Join me and hundreds of other science enthusiasts,
atheists,
secular humanists,
heretics,
feminists,
skeptics,
non-believers,
Satanists,
and freaky freethinkers.
Tickets are at freeflo.org. That's freeflo.org.
So do me a solid and register today at freeflo.org.
Catch you on the flip side.
They should let me write these.
You let Jesus into your heart. Now it's time to bring him into your home with Flat Jesus.
Take photos of Flat Jesus in questionable situations and share with the hashtag FlatJesus. Take pictures of Flat Jesus watching the Smurfs on TV. Hang him on a cross. He won't mind. Flat Jesus on your 3-year-old toddler potty reading the Quran? That's fucking hilarious. But don't wait, apostates. Download your very own Flat Jesus right now at SarahTalk.com/Jesus. That's SarahTalk.com/Jesus now for your free Flat Jesus. The Bible says the earth is flat. Maybe Jesus was too.
Hello, my friends. This is Sister Mary Atheist of the Church of Religious Avoidance down here in Bumblefuck, Alabama. Now, my friends, my people, my brothers and sisters, do you feel lost? Do you feel that swelling urge to be a part of something better? Well, let the word of SarahTalk help you. If you've never known the word SarahTalk, learn it, live it, love it. Can I get an amen? No? Good, 'cause we don't do that shit around here. My friends, we must all remember that the good word of SarahTalk doesn't happen for free. So get yourself over to patreon.com/SarahTalk and help us spread the word. Plant that seed and help it grow into secular, peer-reviewed empirical evidence for the good of all. In the name of the Sarah, the Becca, and the science-based podcast, amen, hallelujah, and holy shit.
I was feeling so alone.
I'm glad I asked for help. Whatever it is, ask for help.
If you're thinking about suicide or need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386.
Hey, this is Morgan Stevenson tuning in from Kalamazoo, Michigan at the Sarah Talk podcast.
Welcome back to Sarah Talk.
Ooh, we're blurry.
God damn it. You gotta give it something to focus on. This is what happens when you get up in the middle of the show. Fucks up the camera.
I didn't get up. I didn't get a hair job, though.
I wonder if there's a way to turn that. Anyway. Hey, welcome back. So, FREEFLO, it's going to be fucking great. I got wrangled into emceeing, or at least one of my aliases did.
Wrangled. She says wrangled like they tied her down and
I was
said, you have to do it. You should have seen how excited she was after we left that conversation. Don't let her fool you.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a good time. Matt Dillahunty, Seth Andrews, Aaron Ra.
Listen.
It's going to be great.
I just hope Seth talks the whole time. I'll be in heaven.
Yeah.
I'm in love with his voice.
Yeah.
I really am. Like, I could... if he could just read me to sleep every night, that'd be great.
It's funny because a lot of people listen to his podcast and say that, like, I listen to you and it makes me fall asleep.
Like,
and then other people are so enamored with it that they can't.
Right? Well, I think that would be the problem. Like, he needs to talk about something mundane for me to fall asleep.
Read from the phone book.
But his voice is very... Yeah.
Yeah.
His voice is just very soothing.
Yeah.
It's like
absolutely.
a weird...
He's a...
I don't know.
He's an FM radio guy.
Yeah.
For sure. Former Christian broadcaster. I don't know if you guys don't. Most people know about Seth Andrews, I guess. But his story is very interesting. And how he sort of came out of his religious belief while working in religious media production. And so that's an interesting story. I don't know what he's going to talk about this time. I've seen several of his talks. He was here recently.
That's the one time I will not be at the table. I don't care if there's nobody at the table. I will not be at the table during Seth Andrews' talk.
Yeah, and I think if I was paying attention, the idea is, like, most people kind of man the table in between speakers.
Yeah.
And then they go watch a speaker, and then they come back to their table, and you leave your literature out, and
nobody gonna listen.
Right.
Right. I'm just saying. If anybody gives me a hard time, you can get up with Seth.
So, I'm trying to come up with some fun material, some funny jokes. I got a couple good ones. I'll have to tell you later. I got a couple good ones for Seth.
I know you had a really good idea
for Matt.
Yeah,
I really want to do that.
We got to get that together because I think that's amazing. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to need some volunteers for that project too, because it's going to need to be somebody that can, and maybe it's at our booth, where people can say, hey, can you participate in this?
We need, and Brent, maybe this is part of, you need to come talk to us, because that, if we have somebody with a like, hey, this is what we're doing, you need to go over here.
Right.
Right.
To kind of spread the word.
Like just kind of canvas the area.
Yep.
Anyway.
So I was thrilled that David and Jocelyn asked me to do that, and he hyped it up as a lot of work, and you gotta figured with your radio history and your whatever, like, you'd be good at bullshitting if we have problems and you need to kill some time, you can do that. And
does he listen to our show?
So
Doesn't he know I'm the vamper?
I'm working on my interpretive dance.
Interpretive dance.
Oh
my God.
And now Birth of a Virgin.
We need to get you a big unicorn float to like prance around on the
Oh man,
those little donut thing, you know what I mean, the pool float that goes around your waist.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. 22440 Sarah, 224-407-2724.
Oh, tutu.
This screenshot Dan got is perfect.
I'm gonna say. Oh my God, Dan, I hate you. You are a rude little man.
So great, so great. Thanks, Dan.
I swear to, if you put that on there, I'm gonna quit the show and I'm gonna go get you a pen, and life as you know it will be over. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You know what's good for you.
Where were we? Oh, I guess I only have one story left. 22440
wow, what
Sarah.
A lie.
If you want to jump in and chat with us, I feel like there was something else that I was going to talk about, but I didn't write it down. FREEFLO was a big one. That's.
I'm super excited about FREEFLO, though.
I hope we see a lot of people up there that we know, and
it sounds like there's going to be a ton of people there that we know and have come across and met.
Yep, and they do it every other year.
Yes, because they do the cruise on the off years, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I would love to do the Freethought cruise too. Yeah, that'd be great. And I've put the bug in the ears for getting Anthony Magnabosco in to. I'm working on getting him in for our groups next year, but then also if he wants to do a future FREEFLO, I think that would be great too.
Yeah.
He's a pretty popular guy in the atheist circles. Anyway, I interviewed Anthony on the Freethought in Florida show. If you want to go to the Atheist Community of Polk County YouTube and check that out, you can.
Good stuff.
So the last thing I have then, I guess, is I want to play back this video. Cory Booker, did you see this?
I saw
parts of it.
I saw the headlines.
So Cory Booker was interviewed on a video for the National Center for Transgender Equality Action Fund. And it was great to hear a candidate for president talking like this.
Senator Booker, thanks so much for being with us and sitting down with us.
We're so formal right now.
Yeah.
You could call me Cory. We've known each other for years now.
Thank you so much for all your support of trans people and trans equality. It's been really incredible. And now you're a presidential candidate.
Right.
And
can I just say one thing though, because
absolutely,
this has been an issue for my adult life. But if you're from New Jersey, I've got to give a lot of credit to someone who was my activist inspiration, who's now passed away, Bab Sipperstein, who is just a legend in our state.
Good friend of mine. Now, if I'm correct, and I think I am, your very first vote in the Senate was a pro-transgender vote.
It was one of the early, I think there were some procedural votes for it, but yes, it was.
The first substance vote.
The first substantive vote, yeah, which was, to me, the fact that I could be in the Senate for a historic day like that, it really made me feel this jubilance to know that I got to be there for that moment.
Right, for the Employment Non-Discrimination Act.
Yes.
So I was there. You may not remember that, but I was there, and I remember you came off the floor, and you were like, my first real vote.
I actually remember that moment. We were standing in that reception area right off the floor. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's wonderful. So you're now a co-sponsor of the Equality Act.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. Original co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Yes, no, it's one of the prouder moments I've had in the Senate, and working with an extraordinary group of legislators on both sides of the political aisle.
A lot of folks have talked about their access to health care, their access to transition-related health.
I want to pause there for just a minute. I'm not going to switch the camera back and forth, but who on the other side of the aisle is supporting the Equality Act? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Care, but just health care in general. What's your position on health care that trans people should care about, should feel like you're on their side, and how are you going to help?
Well, we see such hostility towards trans communities from this administration that the assaults on the ACA and the advancements that the Obama administration, now there's rules in to try to pull protections away from trans Americans. We have from military service to the kind of healthcare access you have in prisons and jails. This is a real issue and a real concern. And we have to, number one, fight on these issues, but make people understand that this is vital to health and well-being, and often life or death issues. And so for me, my commitment is not just trying to stop, or if he's successful, roll back what this administration has done, but we have a lot more advances that we have to do. The discrimination from insurance companies, the discrimination from employers who want to use religious exceptions and deny people fundamental basic.
Can we talk about for a moment the fact that he just said religious exemptions?
Mm-hmm.
It was quick. He was talking fast.
Mm-hmm.
But
he said it.
That needs to be a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
Basic health care is unacceptable to me. And it shows you how much further we have to go to stop the backsliding of this administration, but more importantly, to advance and gain ground until we have equal health care access for all.
One of the most intractable problems that we as trans people face is violence and murder, particularly if you're a young trans woman of color. You're just so much more likely to face violence in this country. Have you thought about that much, and where do you think you can help out there?
I mean, have I thought about it? A lot. 29 African American trans women killed in 2017. 26 killed last year, and this year I think we're in the double digits already. This is something that should have everyone in this country concerned and frankly outraged that you have a community that's being disproportionately targeted with heinous acts of violence, and ultimately, as we've seen in these cases I've enumerated, in homicides. And so I'm going to be someone that speaks to this crisis and begins to take specific measures to do something about that. And this is why this administration's awful acts by removing trans protections from the Department of Education and the work they were doing in schools to make them safe environments, by removing the DOJ's sense of urgency on dealing with protections for trans Americans. This is even around issues, as we said already, in immigration. It's around issues in police accountability. There are so many areas where just your physical safety, if you're a trans American, is under threat in this country right now, and I won't tolerate it. And so I will be a president that is very aggressive in calling out these issues and putting forward the best of who we are to stop this kind of targeting, harassment, violence, and murder.
The Trump administration has stripped away some protections we had. They've basically refused to protect trans students and to stand up for trans students. Do you have a plan beyond reinstituting the guidance from the Obama administration? Where would you go with this?
So let's celebrate Avery, the leader she is obviously already, and I love that not only did she stand up to ask us questions, but I can just tell by that video that she's someone who is taking on this issue in the work that she does. My brother's child, my nephew, which is a combination of niece and nephew, is a trans activist who has helped their uncle be someone who is more aware of the specific issues facing trans youth in our schools today.
How many times do we say, when it strikes close to home?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it affects,
mm-hmm.
when it gets into your inner circle
it's your
of
family.
your life.
It's
When
your,
yeah. Yep.
That kind of leadership right now from these courageous activists, I think we shouldn't discount that power that they are bringing forth on these issues. And so I want to be a president that not only gives guidance, but is actively using my platforms. You see this president using his platforms to demean and degrade. I think that this is a moral moment in America, and that the next president has to be someone that understands that there's a restoration of the best of our values. It has to be done from that office by elevating how we are rendering populations in this country invisible, marginalizing them is just not acceptable to me. We need to have leaders that say, I don't have all the answers when it comes to trans youth, but I'm willing to elevate folks to let them sit as peers with me on figuring out how we can best call to the moral imagination of a nation to stop the reality, not just for trans children, but for LGBTQ youth. About 30% admit to missing school because of fear. We have to address that, because to deny people safe and nurturing environments means that we're undermining their potential, their growth, and our benefit from the genius of the next James Baldwin, from the artistry of the next great artist. Because when you see the trans violence, the discrimination, the hate, the murder, these are heartbreaking things, but they don't define us. What happens to us, the bigotry, the discrimination, the hatred, that doesn't define us. What defines us is how we choose to respond. And to see courageous leaders now pushing this issue. When I walk through the hallways of the Senate and I see, in the Hart Senate building, and I see trans flags in front of senators' offices, I know we are elevating this issue in the right way and starting to build consciousness. We have so much more work to do. And I want to say to the trans community that I know these have been dark years, but help is on its way. And you will have a president, you will have leaders, I don't care what title I hold, you will have stronger and stronger allies in this cause.
It's wonderful. Well, I'm really very thankful for your time.
Thank you.
So let me just say a couple of thoughts that come from that. I love Neiphew.
Yes.
I love the language that comes from the non-binary.
Yeah.
The community that just,
right.
When your options are a masculine and a feminine, you gotta
make a new one.
You have to make up your own shit.
I love it.
And I think that's really cool.
That was cool.
And also, this was, even for the Democrats, trans rights, trans issues, even just a few years ago, was a boutique issue for our side too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear this, I don't get the feeling that this was just let me pander to a crowd, right? I get the feeling that
he seemed very genuine.
Yeah, this affects my life and my family, and I really actually care about it.
Well, you could see the way his body language was saying a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Like his body language was saying so much more than the words that were coming out, because you could tell that he just really felt like it wasn't a script. This isn't
right.
This isn't my I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's not a stump speech.
Right.
Right.
So
224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724. Final call. Last call for the calls. We'll talk to you. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll be happy to hear from you.
Can we ask Mr. Presidento Predicto if anybody's actually going to call?
You can ask whatever you want.
All right, is anybody going to call?
Oh, you have to pick it up. Oh.
We're going to see what happens. It'll be exciting.
What a dick.
It's going to be exciting.
Oh.
You're going to make him go again.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Did the microphone pick that up? That was amazing.
Oh, yes. Dan, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Pandering. Trump.
Definitely.
Holding the LGBTQ flag while campaigning. Yes. Absolutely.
Just in case you didn't catch that, because I'm not going to know until I go back and listen.
Yeah.
But I said, what a dick, and I moved the thing, and he said 100% right or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was amazing.
True that. So while we wait for any potential final callers at 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724, Becca.
Sarah.
I have a quiz for you.
I didn't get the study notes for the quiz.
Name 5 Democratic presidential contenders.
Okay. Beto. Bernie. Warren. Gillibrand. I don't know why that's coming to mind. Where
I don't
am
know either. Why?
I have no idea. She's like not even in the top. What do I need? One more?
Mm-hmm.
Booker.
Kind of give you a free one. I was wondering if maybe that didn't I thought maybe you would give me your top 5 as a sort of
Oh no, I don't have a top 5 yet.
Unplanned thing.
No, Beto will always be on the top because he's gorgeous. Oh, whoa. Get it? On top?
My God.
I didn't even mean it that way. But it's so good.
I also like when Beto goes on the reporters and tells them, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
That was like
That's
my
the
favorite
best.
Beto because that was like, oh, he can be aggressive.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a top 5 yet.
No?
And we've had this conversation.
Okay.
Not on...
Can we talk? Hold on. Can we talk? Can we talk?
Can we talk?
Can we talk about why the fuck is Joe Biden still riding high on so many polls? So...
Oh my God!
That was completely unintentional.
Oh
I promise.
man, mine was too. What is up with that? Okay, I have no idea.
Right?
I didn't even think of him. Totally.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, and I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest with you, listeners. I haven't watched any of these debates.
Right.
The only reason I know any of the contenders is because it's like all over the place.
Right.
I just haven't been able to get myself into a good headspace
to sit down and watch it.
Yeah. I'm just not there yet, and I don't know if it's just because it feels like it's still so soon.
It is,
and I don't want to get like all attached to somebody who's just gonna end up not on the ticket.
Right.
Like not on any ticket that I would get to vote on because they're going to drop out before the primary. So I don't know if it's that. It might be that and a combination of the fact that I'm just so overwhelmed with everything else.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on.
Like there's a lot
Running
going
a nonprofit is fucking hard work.
I've been busy and
we've got 2 kids in school now. The little one's in VPK.
So I've had a full plate, and so that's like not even in my radar.
Well, here's the thing about the early primary or the early debates.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking people and so many issues that need to be covered that there's not enough time to give anyone any amount of time to actually like really dig into the issue and give more than just a stamp answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the reality of it. And so when I watched them, I came away reinforced with what I went into it with.
Right.
Here are the few that I like.
How many are still on the...
I would vote for literally any of them. Like, that's what I came out with.
How many are still on the plate?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
I think like 4, 5.
Something like that.
4 or 5.
Uh-huh.
When there's 4 or 5 left, you come back to me and let me know.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a look at it.
Let me read the names, and you tell me if you've heard of them before.
Okay.
Okay.
What should I say, yes or no?
Yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael Bennett.
No.
Joe Biden.
Yes.
Bill de Blasio.
No.
Cory Booker.
Yes.
Steve Bullock.
No.
Pete Buttigieg.
Yes.
Julian Castro.
I forgot about him. Yes.
John Delaney.
He sounds like a newsie. No.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
Kirsten Gillibrand.
Yes.
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Amy Klobuchar.
Yes.
Wayne.
Wait, Amy Klobuchar is running?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wayne Messam.
No.
Beto O'Rourke.
Yes.
Tim Ryan.
No.
Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
Joe Sestak.
No.
Some of these people have dropped out, by the way. Tom Steyer.
No.
Liz Warren.
Yeah.
Marianne Williamson.
No. Oh, wait, yeah.
She's the batshit crazy
Yeah,
one.
I know her. Wait, yeah.
Andrew Yang.
No.
So that's 12 yeses and 9 nos.
Okay.
So you've heard of more than half. That's not bad. Let's see. Seth Moulton dropped out.
I'll be honest. If I didn't live with her, I wouldn't have heard of that many.
This is true. Representative Seth Moulton of Massachusetts dropped out today. On the 21st, Washington Governor Jay Inslee dropped out. August 15th, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper.
What? Hickenlooper?
Hickenlooper. And
that's kind of a cool name.
August 6th, Senator Mike Gravel suspended his presidential campaign.
David says, I'd like to know why Biden is doing so well, too. To me, he is a return to politics as usual. That said, I will vote for him if he is the nominee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would even vote for Marianne Williamson if she's the nominee. But I just don't understand. I don't know.
I
Here's
would
the
vote
thing.
for this Lego guy.
Okay, here's the thing. The polling. Now, I actually have an app that that is part of these polls. That when I go to look at, when they release a poll and you go and look and dig down to the data, it will tell you the sources, and one of them is this app that I use. So I know that, like, my responses are being aggregated into some sort of answers somewhere. And they often ask, how do you rate Donald Trump's presidency, right? And it's that, like, very good, just okay, poor, very poor kind of thing, right? That's that kind of scale.
Oh, you mean it's an honest scale, not like the surveys?
Not like the surveys his people send out.
I think the NRA people wrote their survey, and the people that write Donald Trump surveys write the
NRA survey. But anyway, so like it asks that stuff. Like if you had to vote today, which Democratic candidate would you vote for?
Mm-hmm.
It's never Joe Biden when I vote.
No.
So I don't know who these people are polling. 727. You're on SarahTalk. Who's this?
It's Brent. Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey, Brent.
Hey, how's it going?
Name 5 presidential candidates. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God.
That's not fair. I already just did it.
Yeah, I kind of just heard them, but I already forgot them.
Yeah, probably. So many of them are forgettable.
My mind is like a sieve.
I can't blame
you.
There's
not many memorable. Like, I mean, you got Pete Buttigieg. He's a memorable one.
Yep.
Beto's never gonna like live down yelling the F word at the.
Yeah, I don't know. He goes up and down for me. I think he's like really cool 1 minute, and then I hear something else about him, and then he goes right back to being cool again when he gets on TV saying fucking stuff. That was all.
It was great.
So Brent, please, dear God, tell me you are not calling to defend Joe Biden.
No, actually, I was actually calling to tell you that I just heard on Left at the Valley, they were saying that the reason that Joe Biden is so high in the polls is because a lot of the polls are done with rotary phones.
Oh my God. Well, that explains
like
it.
landlines. So
Who
it's like,
the
yeah,
fuck
okay,
has a
everybody
landline
like 60
anymore?
it up.
All of the
old people, I
what's
get
it
it.
called? What's that place? What's that? What's the place out in Orlando where all the old people live?
Oh, the Villages.
The Villages. Yeah, that's who they're
Oh,
pulling.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
Villages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All the
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
You know, it makes me wonder, because I'm one of these people, and I think this is probably a generational truth. If I don't know the number, and we're not live on the air, if I don't know the number, I don't fucking answer the phone.
Yeah.
I'm a text person. You text. If you call me, I will watch it ring, wait for it to stop, and then text you and be like, what the fuck do you want, and why did you call instead of text?
Well, and I mean, I know, like, my grandmother had the caller ID box, but she was the same way. She didn't answer the phone if she didn't know the number.
Right.
Even, like, with that dinosaur technology years and years ago, I don't know. I'm screening my calls. Sorry.
Yeah.
I make the mistake every now and then to answer it because it'll be like a local number.
Yep.
And like there are some local numbers that, well, no, I mean like our city where we live, where like pharmacy will call and I don't have necessarily all of their outlines saved.
Right.
And they'll call about a prescription and I'll think, oh wait, I should probably answer this because it might be them. And then it's not them. It's a stupid shitty car dealership across the street that I stupidly bought a vehicle from, want me to bring my vehicle in and trade it in, and it's like, stop calling me, I've told you to lose this number. So I just don't answer the phone unless it's...
That's interesting, though, that's...
Yeah, that is a...
I would be interested, so again, like, this, the app is called YouGov, if you want to get into it. It rewards you for taking surveys, and you can cash in your points for, like, Amazon gift cards and stuff. So I've seen survey data reported where I go and look at the, what the source of the, it's like a meta survey, where what all the different sources are, and it'll show, like, YouGov, and it'll break it down, like, what these people responded. And that's an app on a smartphone. So I don't know. Like, it just makes me wonder if I'd like to see it broken down by generation. I'd like to see it broken down by gender. It makes me wonder if there's just not right. If the youth of the party skews further left, and I think this is fair to say is true, is that if the youth of the party skews more progressive than sort of the older folks in the party, which tend to run more center. I don't know.
Right.
Just be interested to see.
Yeah, because that seems to be the way the Democrats used to be, was just always trying to negotiate with the other side, and it seems like the right just kind of took advantage of it.
Well,
and now we're here.
Yeah. And there's the Overton window to consider too, right? Like, so it seems like if you look back at the sort of the long last few decades, our people are more likely to try to meet in the middle and reach across the aisle and make concessions to get things passed that are at least somewhat beneficial to things that we both want.
Right.
And then we try to pass things like the Equality Act, and the Republicans are like, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And they just
hard no.
hit the brakes.
Yeah.
Right? And so eventually, I don't know if it was a meme or something that I saw that was like, the ideals of the so-called progressives are not uber left-wing. They're more centrist than you would think. Like, super left-wing ideals are just ridiculously unimaginable things that nobody would,
right.
Like, but because the Republicans have pulled the window so far to the right, it makes our sort of actual moderates seem way more left than they actually are, and our centrists, like Biden, look to me like almost conservative.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they've definitely moved the line.
Yeah.
Because of that. Or, yeah, that's true.
Do you? I know it's early, but do you have a favorite? Do you have a top 5, top 3? What are you thinking at this point?
I think Lauren. I really like her a lot. She just seems to have the best head on her shoulders about things.
Yep.
I guess next would be Bernie. I don't know. I still have some issues with Bernie, and that's kind of why he's in the second place for me. But yeah, I think they're pretty good, both of them.
Yeah. I really don't. I really don't like, as much as I give old people shit, I really don't like the argument of age. He's too old and all of this stuff. Like, the age is not the issue. It's if the faculties are affected by age. Like, and that can happen at age is just a number. That can happen at any age.
We should get a Bernie and Betty White ticket.
Oh my God! Yes, Betty White. Yes.
What is she doing these days? She should run.
I actually saw a post about her today. What the fuck was it? I don't remember. Anyway, God, I love Betty White. Me too. You put Beto and Betty White
Beto
together.
and Betty White. Oh my God, could you imagine? Betty White, any of them,
Beto
really.
and Betty.
Yeah.
Like Betty White and Cory Booker.
Oh, I was thinking Betty and Beto
because
they both swear proficiently.
Yeah, that's true.
The great campaign slogans and stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, you could do all kinds of things.
Let's see. So I don't know that I've talked about this yet because we keep teasing it and then it never comes around. Of the field that I like Mayor Pete a lot. He would be a good VP, I think.
Oh yeah.
I do like Beto. I like Bernie. I like Liz Warren. Kamala comes across to me as a little too prosecutorial and hawkish, and I don't know if that's me reading things that are not there, or I haven't introspected into that yet. But I was a Kamala fan at the beginning. I did like her at the start. But like Biden, the more she talks, the less I'm interested.
You know what's funny is I was never a fan of Cory Booker.
Yeah, I wasn't
until
either.
I just watched this interview, and I was like, okay, maybe there's something there I wasn't seeing. So that maybe there's still a Kamala moment that you're not.
Can we also say that video right there was the first time I've ever heard Cory Booker speak where he didn't talk about coming from a poor black neighborhood.
Yeah.
That seems to be his go-to.
Yeah. Is that his stump speech?
3 or 4. You haven't watched the debates yet, but yeah, like 3 or 4 times during the debates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Damn it, my drink's empty.
This is sad.
He hammered hard at that.
Yeah, definitely. And my Coke's empty
too. I guess the show's over. Sarah's drinks are empty, guys. Sorry. Technical difficulties. We'll just have to drink it straight.
Got to end right now. They're empty.
Yeah. I'm looking at the list.
You look like you're about to cry.
Whatever. I'm not that drunk. I'm not cry drunk yet.
You're not cry drunk? Okay. That's unfortunate. I would pay to see her cry at this point. I'm kidding.
Pony up. You got money?
I can pay you in Lego wheels. Can't even do that.
That have been chewed up by the dog? No thanks.
I can pay you in unicorn balls.
Oh my god.
Oh man, It went the wrong way.
It hit me.
Did it?
Anyway,
okay.
What else is going on, Brent?
Oh, not much.
Oh my gosh.
Just it's actually pretty cool. Tonight I'm actually going on to Left at the Valley, and they're going to have a psychiatrist or a psychologist psychoanalyze me for being homeschooled and heavily indoctrinated.
That'll be interesting.
Cool.
I did listen to that episode that you did recently with them about homeschooling.
Let me know how that goes. I think maybe somebody needs to do that for me because I was also heavily indoctrinated and homeschooled.
Right? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take notes and try to figure out what they fucked up in my head. That way I don't have to take responsibility.
Oh,
there you go. There it is.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's a typical thing, though. Religious people not taking responsibility. So it would make sense that would be your knee-jerk reaction to.
Yeah. Well, I'm a white cisgendered male, so that's how that goes for us.
You got that privilege card. You're ready to go.
I was homeschooled for 1 year. I had a major depressive episode in like 7th or 8th grade. I don't remember what. No, it was 8th grade, and then my freshman year, I think I was homeschooled. And but it wasn't like the choice of my parents because public school is bad and I want to teach my kid Jesus. It was like I had a mental break in the hallway.
You needed to not be there.
And it was I didn't fit in. There weren't there were cliques and there was nowhere for me to go. There was no place for me and I felt so alone and it just broke me down and I lost it in the middle of the hallway, and that was that. And so, but my parents hired a teacher to come to the house and followed the same curriculum that my peers were in public school following, so that I still got the same education, just in a home setting.
The difference between doing it the right way and doing it the religious right way.
That's good. I like what you did there.
Anyway, I'll be here all night. Thanks.
You're waitress.
I told you I should be a comedian. Nobody believes me, but I got some jokes.
Okay. I'll have you write some jokes for me for FreeFlow.
They didn't ask me to MC FreeFlow.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'm not bitter. I'm just kidding. I'm not bitter. No, I don't want that job.
Yeah. Let me tell you, every educational meeting that we have for the atheist community, guess who stands up in front with a microphone and does all the talking?
You haven't asked me to do anything. Don't give me that face. Listen, okay. You want to go there?
I did ask you to do something once, and you did.
This is Sarah. Sarah needs somebody to hold an intervention because Sarah is a control freak.
Oh, this is
Don't
very true.
be like Sarah.
Oh, no.
This is very true.
I would be afraid to just take over if not asked because I know better. You ask me to do it, I'll do it.
Okay.
But you're a control freak. I'm not going to just do it.
I am. It's because I know if I want it done the way I want it done, I have to do it. That's all. So anyway, Brent, everybody...
Thanks for coming on and being our therapist. We needed a mediator.
Everybody go subscribe to Unapologetics. Unapologetics with an X. And you can listen to Brent and Nikki talk about all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah, we're very loud and obnoxious. So.
Yes.
A lovable kind of obnoxious, though.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what I'm going for, but...
Yeah. Are you excited for Star Trek Picard?
I can't wait.
Yeah, that was
so
great.
Nerd Corner.
We right? Heck yeah. We actually just had Callie on the show, and we asked her one question where it's just like, if you didn't know, or if somebody didn't know Star Trek at all, what would be the movie or series that you would, suggest to them?
I listened to that. You broke her. She didn't know what to say. She was like, "Oh my God, I don't know how to answer that." Everything is just so integrated and so
Picard
connected.
Come out? When is its release date?
Yeah.
You're supposed to know these things.
My CBS All Access will tell me when it's available.
Then I won't get to watch it, so don't know why I'm getting excited.
Sure you will.
What is it? Do you know if it's going to be on any streaming service?
All of the Star Trek series are launching in the CBS All Access, and that's it. And it's, I know it's can we talk about how I hate this new model of subscription media, and maybe this is because I grew up in the era of the free internet when everything was new, but like. Disney's launched their new service now, and so if you want to watch Disney movies, you have to subscribe to it for $10 a month or whatever it is. And if you want to read the newspaper more than 4 articles, you either have to subscribe digitally and pay $10 a month or pay for a actual paper subscription on your doorstep. Like, everything has gone to this subscription model. Where I grew up in the 90s, everything was free and we put ads all over everything model.
You just watched commercials. There were. It's the weirdest thing to try to explain to a 10-year-old what a commercial break is.
Yeah.
I mean, our kid watches YouTube, and so he gets the YouTube ads, and he'll go, "Oh, these stupid ads," and they're literally 5 seconds long, and I'm like, "Kid, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about." Back when I was a kid, a commercial break ad, whatever, you had enough time to go to the kitchen, get a refill of your snack and your drink, go to the bathroom, and throw your head out the front door and tell your friends you're not coming out because the next episode's on. Like, 4 seconds on a YouTube ad.
3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, like you. Oh my God, these kids just don't even know. They don't even know.
No.
I sound like that old man.
For a bar to fill up for.
Go ahead.
A photo. Just a photo.
You know, the thing about CBS All Access that I reluctantly paid for it for Discovery. I didn't do the ad-free $10 thing. I did the $5 thing. Now that it's going to be Discovery and Lower Decks and the Picard series, like this is the flagship vessel, pun intended, for all new Star Trek TV media that's coming out, and I'll pay for that. That I will,
that seems worth it.
Yeah. One show was hard to kind of bite the bullet for, but if it's going to be like a whole new world of Star Trek that's coming out,
of course she's going to pay for it because she's a massively humongous geek.
Is that the one with Big Bang Theory? I can't ever remember that one.
Oh hell, I don't know. There's a whole ton of shit on CBS All Access, and I don't watch any of it. I literally only watch Star Trek.
Can we put that on the TV?
I don't think so. I don't know.
That's stupid because that's where I would watch it. I don't have a tablet.
Okay.
So I need it on the TV. Because I would watch a whole bunch of stuff. Especially now that I got 3 hours a day. Sorry, school. I'm not going to volunteer those 2 hours. I'm going to go binge watch CBS.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, I got to pee real bad. So we're going to end the show. Yeah, unless you want to talk to Brent for a few minutes.
No, I'm quite ready to go to bed, actually. I'm a little exhausted.
All right. Well, we'll wrap the show here. Hey, Brent, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, bud, thanks.
Glad to hear from you.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for having me. That was awesome.
Russell just came into chat.
As we're leaving.
Way to go.
Too late, bro. Too late, man.
Too late.
All right, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Definitely. Take it easy.
Have a good one. All right. Well, then before we go, we want to thank our patrons who give us their hard-earned money to do our show every week.
Yes, patrons. Thank you.
Would you like to read the patron list?
Sure.
Oh,
God, you're doing this thing again, aren't you?
Those are the names.
Just a circle?
Yep. These are our top patrons, BTW.
The declined patron, Russell. Thanks for showing up the last three minutes. And thanks for nothing, basically.
Wow. He's
my brother, so I can say this, but
on the dollar level, though.
On the dollar
level, he is still on the top.
Which is crazy to me.
I know. But John is quickly racing up to catch up here.
Oh, my.
He's like, I don't know, $20 short of where Russell is. So.
Yeah, you
John
gave this
declined.
to me, you bitch. Then we have Sick Hicks Nick, the Chic Sixth Sheep. I think I got that right.
I think you did.
And the Creepy Soap Baby.
I still don't understand that reference, but I'll Google it.
Who are those?
That's Dan and John.
And John. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eek.
Gad.
All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap up the show.
Wrap it up tight
and
put it to bed till next week.
We'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you again next week.
Okay.
Maybe there'll be some more Democrats drop out by then.
Oh my gosh.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.
SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. SarahTalk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.